Hi everybody, this is Kevin from Hideaway Homestead. We're going to be talking today about how to put together a metal shed. We need a lot of storage space out here on the homestead, and we don't seem to have enough, so we're going to put together a shed and get it put up out here. We're going to have to build the platform for it and put the shed together ourselves. It came in a box, so we're going to show you how we did that, so stay tuned. We got the outside frame of this already set. So now we're just going to take a couple measurements, make sure we're still okay, and then we have to still cut some of the joists in the middle that are running across this way, the 10-foot width. So we're going to check that and make sure we're okay on that. Get this thing to cooperate. We are making progress on our shed. This is where we are right now, getting it put up. We've had a few setbacks here and there. Anything that could go wrong pretty much has. We've had to take things off and put them back on again. Last week we had wind out here and it blew the shed part off of the platform, so I had to push that back in place and put screws in it to hold it in place. So, but other than that, it's looking pretty good. We're getting ready to put the doors on, and the next thing is going to be to put the gables and everything on it and get the roof on. Hopefully we can get this up pretty quick because it is supposed to rain today again.
Okay, we're putting on the last gable end. Now it's starting to look like it's supposed to, shape-wise. We thought we'd give some feedback on the goods and the bads of our shed build. We were very pleased, one thing, with how the instructions were laid out, and especially for how they divided up the fasteners, because really there were just two types of fasteners that they used through the whole thing, and that made it easier instead of having to try to figure out whether they mean part 12, part 24, part 32, whatever. You know, we could tell it's either a screw or it was a bolt, and so that made it easier. And they had pre-drilled the holes, and that made it easier too, that you didn't have to try to figure out where they were supposed to be. And it also helped you to know where to line things up, because if the holes didn't line up, and we had that situation one time on the roof panels, the holes were not lining up right, even though we thought we were putting it on the right side, the correct side. But when we swapped sides, then the holes all lined up right, and so we knew that we were doing it the right way. So that was good. And they provided extra of the bolts and screws and what they called washers, I call gaskets. But that's nice, because we dropped a couple in the sand, and so we ended up with still some extras, so that was a good thing.
Yeah. One of the things that we would change if we were doing it again is we would probably schedule more time.
Oh yeah.
It says in the instructions it takes about 12 hours. Well,
For 2 people?
For 2 people, it took more than 12 hours. I think if we did it again, we're more familiar with the product, and so we probably would be able to do it a little quicker the next time.
We also had the heat that we were dealing with.
Yes, it's in the mid to upper 90s here, and with the humidity and everything, it's well over 100 degrees almost every day. And then on top of that, we had rain, we had storms that would come in and stuff like that, and so we had a couple of things working against us that slowed us down.
Well, we had to take breaks and get out of the heat and out of the sun because it was about to make us sick.
Yes.
And that was not going to be a good thing. So that extended the length of time other than our unfamiliarity with the product.
Right, right. Yeah, living here in Florida, you know how you learn how to deal with the heat, and we do. We know how to deal with it, and that's how you have to do it. You can't stay out here all day in the heat and work, or you'll end up with a stroke or sunstroke or something, or overheated.
Or worse,
yeah, very quickly you can overheat and dehydrate, and it's dangerous. So we have to take that into account also.
We did not allow enough time in an extended day to be able to do this, taking into account the heat and the weather conditions, and so that caused us some issues with the build process itself.
Yeah, and so the instructions that came with it were pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of them were a little difficult to understand or figure out what they were talking about, which direction it should go. So I think they could have been a little more detailed, maybe.
I don't know how they could have drawn them differently, but especially with the angled pieces, it would say but they had screw holes on both sides, so several times we put them, like, attached the lower part of the L to the metal on the doors especially, and found out that it was supposed to have been the other way, that the upper part of the L should have been, so we ended up having to take all those off.
Yeah.
That took more time.
Yes, of course. But anyway, so other than that, we didn't really have a problem with the product itself or anything. It's a nice product, and it does well for us.
One thing that we found out at the end is we had a whole bunch of extra sheets of strips of
metal bracing that was supposed to be for the floor.
We kept waiting to find out where we were supposed to screw that in. It turns out it's optional for the floor bracing. And well, by that time we had already built the whole floor and learned our lessons on that too.
Yeah, we built a wooden platform for the flooring on the shed instead of using those, but it worked out.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So we have extra metal left.
Yes.
We'll find some place to use it on the homestead. One thing that I underestimated was the strength of the plywood that we needed. So we're in Lowe's or Home Depot and looking at all the thicknesses. What difference could a 1/16 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch make? You know, let's get the cheaper one. And it really did make a difference because we had to go back and brace and reinforce because it just, the cheaper selection that I talked Kevin into. I'm sorry, it's my fault and I take full responsibility for it. But that took us a lot longer on the foundation builder and the flooring building, and that delayed the rest of the process too.
But overall, it worked.
It worked.
We got it together, and it's a nice thing.
One other thing, what they call washers are little, almost clear plastic rings. I would call them gaskets because of how they function. Almost anything on the exterior used those little gaskets to keep water out. But in times, either Kevin or I will share the responsibility or blame for this, we were overzealous in tightening those screws in, and that smashed the gasket out to where it was allowing water to get through.
It didn't seal.
Yeah,
and
we had to
some
replace
leaks.
those. So
we had some leaks inside the shed that we had to go back and take those out and put new ones on and make sure we didn't tighten them down quite as much, and so that worked out better by doing that. So
also, they suggest 2 people, And I don't know how. We've said several times during this process, don't know how one person could be able to manage this, because there were times when I was inside tightening the nuts while he was screwing down the bolts from the top on the roof. You just can't be both places at once, and most people don't have arms that are that long.
It does take two people.
Yeah.
So that's one of the other things. So anyway, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah, some feedback on our pluses and minuses. The kit was good.
Yes.
It was complete. They had labeled the different
parts,
yeah,
pieces
the
of metal
braces,
had numbers on them.
the strips of metal, and they were all cut to size. They all fit once you put them together in the right order. So that was a good thing about the kit.
Yeah.
And but just a couple of these other issues that if we were doing it again, either we would know now, or we would allow for more time, or something like that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Couple of things, let you know.
Okay, so we got the shed put together. As you can see it behind me right here, looks pretty good actually. We're hoping it's going to work out real well for us, so we've got some more storage space, and it's going to be a good thing for our homestead. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Give us a thumbs up, ask questions, leave us comments. If you have family and friends that might be interested in what we're doing here on the homestead, pass our name and information along to them as well. In the meantime, thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead.